Good morning, everybody. So 5,000 is hit on SP 500. So let's get that level in. You can see we hit it pretty much bang on and then stalled. So trend is up, no two ways about that. And as I said yesterday, it looked like a bit of a flat top triangle that was forming, and we did get the breakout and pretty quickly got to 5,000. So 5,000 is a big psychological level. Well, the big question here is, it's been hit, now what? Are we going to build another base to break through and try and build a base on it? Or are we going to come back to a level? And I think you should actually put in the triangle because it wasn't tested. So is it going to come back to a level and then continue? So trend is up. No two ways about that. It's up until it's not. Oscillators are now kind of grouped. Well, they've been grouped up there, but the diversions that we had in place is still it's almost like a double top on the oscillators. I wouldn't concern myself too much about that, but let's just have a look what happens when we look at it on the lower time frames. Definitely no diversions there. So the whole week has been pretty much all over the place, barbed wire everywhere, no real decision. But I suppose this pin bar, again here, hindsight being the perfect science, this pin bar we had earlier in the week was probably the indication that the smart money was accumulating entries. So yeah, I think for me, we're looking for that pullback. We're looking for pullback onto structure, and unfortunately, being at all-time highs, there's no structure to the left. So the only structure you have is pretty much down here, and then when you start going into lower time frames, you'll see areas of structure or where there could be opportunities. I'm not convinced that I want to be long here. So I'll show you now on the 15-minute what I mean by that. But let's just go straight there because there's nothing on the hour. Okay, so we had a quick, rapid climb. Sort of, I think it was 49.95 or something. Yeah, that's kind of where we were, and then we stalled and sort of formed a bit of a range, and then we had a bit of a squirt up after our rejection, and then back onto this. So if you look at what's happening here, there was my trend line, came to the trend line with the pin bar, rejected it, but now we've broken that trend line. So a lot of times when this happens, you get a sort of a rollover, build a base lower down, and then we get moving. Now there is another scenario here, and that is the flag break. Okay, so you can see strong move up, flag, and we've sort of like drifted higher. So this measured move should be something like that. Let's get all the levels in, then we'll discuss them now. So flag. Maybe you could also argue that from the bottom of yesterday to here, flag, break, and move to the upside, but let's just be conservative. Okay, so what would the logic here be? The first bit of logic is we have a level right here, and that's kind of where we are at the moment. This is at 49.94, so we could drop a bit lower, and I'm just going to use this level, no gap there, but see the pin bar here, we could drop down into this space here at 49.90 and then have a second attempt at 5,000, get through 5,000, you could hit 5,009 and then turn back down. Ideally what you'd want is, you don't want this to be a flag. So what we want this to be is the upward trend has broken and we're looking for a decent pullback, and we're going to use a different tool here and just look at the Fibonacci, and you'll see the Fibonacci 50 and 61.8 levels will be all the way down here, at 49.73. So for me, the most logical spot to be looking is around 49.73. I'm just going to use this here and then this one as well. So these aren't fractals, they are levels, so let's just call them micro levels. So there's no fractal there, so it's not really a level that you should be paying attention to. But in this scenario, with 5,000 being such a psychological level, the bulls are going to want to break it. They're going to want to break it, they're going to want to get above it, they're going to want to start building a base above it, so that becomes a new line in the sand. The bears are going to want to reject it. So I expect we're going to be a little bit volatile here. This is the only area of potential support. Otherwise it is all the way down. Let's just do that on the hour. Yeah, so it's all the way down here in this area here, which is going to be 49.63 and 49.57. So you see this is a strong area of support. This cluster that we've got here, I can just do that, is a previous day's high at 49.75. So that's kind of the view that I've got. I'm looking for a pullback into 49.75. Obviously there's little micro levels there which you need to pay attention to, because you probably get ambushed in this space here, and I don't think that's going to give away. I think that's probably the most logical. We did try come test it yesterday, so I suspect that's kind of what we're going to do, and then take it from there. If it does build a base there, we're looking for an inside bar, engulfing bar, pin bars, and then we're looking for a move back up to 5,000. Now yesterday's price action was pretty interesting. You can see this level here was the level we were paying attention to, 49.57. But if you just adjust it on the 15-minute, you can see there's a bit of a swing high there. Look at how we tested this all day. Bit of a pin bar, then we had this, call it a tweezer bottom, or you can call it an engulfing bar. But above the 150 EMA, you know, any break above any of these levels to the upside was a trigger. That was a trigger there. You could have had a 133 point stop loss for pretty much, even if you'd got out here, been a one-to-one trade, if you'd held on, you would have had a 330 point gain. So the trend is up, you're looking to buy, you're not looking to be short on this. So buy the dip, buy the pullbacks, but just make sure that you're buying it in areas where there's solid structure. This area that we're in now is not that solid. I really would expect a retest. We've got to start building structure, otherwise it's just it'll get to a level and then it'll plummet. So that's the most logical thing at the moment, is 49.75, could be 49.78, could also be 49.80, but that is a pullback area that I'm looking to buy into this again. And lastly, we are parabolic. You can see the trend line of the triangle is kind of like that. So that was the trend line, and now look at how we've broken through that. So you could argue, just do it there. So there's the next trend line. So you could argue that we come back to that trend line. This trend line here would also offer support. That would be all the way down at 49.63, and then obviously in just below that you're going to see all these areas at 49.50, which would also offer support. So that's kind of my view for today. If we don't build a base at 49.75, then 49.50 is definitely going to hold up, and that would be the next area to buy. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.